there, YouTube friends. Masked Bandit here. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I always do appreciate it. And welcome back to Conifer Slopes, episode 31. And hey, it hasn't been 2 years. How about that? So, inspiration has struck. I don't know what's going on. It's like the old days, it seems, for now at least. And I'm just hours just consumed in a way that I haven't been in quite a while. So that's super exciting for me, and hopefully that's also super exciting for you, because that means we get some more Conifer Slopes on the channel. In the last episode, we worked on Steam Buggy Slam, which is our bumper cars, hiding the bumper cars behind some cool facades, establishing some lore with Dr. Ollie, some pharmaceutical and oddities creator who has his hands in lots of things, and actually y'all had some wonderful ideas. So, but that isn't the big idea. The big idea was we included the Legend of Tombstone, a fantastic dark ride by Fisherman. One thing I do want to say that I forgot to mention last time was my reshade settings that I'm going to be using here on in all foreseeable Planet Coaster videos were made by Bro Nation member Blue Jay, and I will have a link to his YouTube channel in the description below. Apologies for not saying that in the last episode. Kind of got overwhelmed with the dark ride, but yeah, shout out to Blue Jay for his awesome help in refining my reshade settings so it looks nice and tasty at the end of the episode. So what are we doing today? Well, today we are going to try and, well, all this. We are going to try to do all of this. Well, at least finalize the placement of most things. That is the goal of today. We are going to try to finalize the placement of all the stuff. The saloon, the ride, this ride. We're going to theme this ride today. We're going to add an awesome new building based on some of your suggestions. And so we don't have time to dilly nor dally, because looking at this map, I realized I got quite a bit done for this episode. So let's just jump right into it and take a look at our first update. So you can see some changes right away. The saloon is now, well, most of the saloon. Some of the saloon is still over here, but most of the saloon is over here. And we made a little bit of change to the deck. I got rid of the whole deck idea. I added just a few tables here, but the building itself hasn't changed aside from that. Just this is its placement. Dang nabbit. This is where it's going to be, because as we come around the corner here, you can sort of see it peeking out, and from over here you get a good view of the saloon sign, so you can see where you want. And even from this way now, as we enter the western area proper, we can see the Dusty Spoon Saloon. And just a reminder, the Dusty Spoon Saloon was the name of the restaurant in the original Conifer Slopes project way back in 2007. So just another look at this. I really like this building. I think it turned out really, really well. But this is its place, which kind of snuggles in the Coriolis, is that what it's called? I can never remember. Yeah, the Coriolis. That snuggles that in right there. I had to be really careful to make sure it didn't clip. I got as close as I could. You can see I'm starting to infringe a bit on the ride pad, but as we all know, Planko's ride pads are silly big, so that then solidified where the queue is going to go. And we're going to make this super simple. Just going to put some covers on it. And that left me with this huge open space here that was too big, too small for any ride, but too big for anything else. And I didn't want to block too much as far as sightlines go. So what do parks do when they have open space that they don't know what to do with? They monetize it through games, of course. So we're using Ruble Trillion's amazing Midway games. I'm going to be modifying them. Took me a while to get this little square-ish layout. Also have this amazing OK Corral shootout I had on the workshop. I've had it for quite a while, but it is very, very, very cool. We're going to be using lots of workshop items today, and I will have links to them in the description below. I will mark this one, because you all know where rubles come from, but anything that's not ones that I've used regularly, I will go ahead and drop those in for you. So we just got a simple Midway game station here, and that's about it for this particular update, but this felt good. Like once I got here, I was like, all right, let's see what else we can, do, because I was determined to get her done. So we still need to clean it up, obviously, add some better roofing, and like I said, we are going to make it look like one building instead of 6 little nested buildings here, but that comes a little bit later. So this is the first step, is just nailing this area down. And yeah, so after this, make another jump forward and show you the next step in this process. All right, I think I'll bring you in back here. You can see that I've tried to homogenize this game stand now with similar roof and wall colors all the way around, and I think that helps a whole lot. Oh, I missed the ring toss sign. Jeez, I'll have to fix that. I missed that. Okay, well, anyway, if you look at it from everywhere else, I think it looks okay. Oh, you might also notice the hyper has changed colors. Won't be the last time that's happened. I figured with all the warm in the area, all the warm colors, that a cool color would be better. Posted it on the Bronation, and they said, one person mentioned that they thought it kind of took away from the grandness of it. It kind of blended in too much. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm changing the color again before the end of the episode, and you can let me know what you think. We've also added some clutter. We've also added this cute little well. Again, I had an open space, didn't quite know what to do. Put a seating area in. And these are not meant to be animatronics. These are meant to be like, like stage show, like a live role play kind of thing, where a couple times a day they come out and they stage a shootout outside the saloon. That'd be kind of fun. Something I kind of wanted to do. I don't know if I'll keep them here, but for now, and actually that ties in really well with the Rapids ride, which has bandits in it. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to kind of set a scene here with this area. Just kind of make it all kind of go together. So we're going to have to figure out how the steampunk thing kind of fits in. So yeah, we'll see. But then I've also gone ahead and I've just decked out the queue. By decked out, I meant made it super simple and not very fancy at all. I like this easy cover. I didn't want to do anything fancy with it because there's fancy stuff on either side of it. So I just kind of wanted to let this sit, but I also didn't want people to cook in the sun. So I gave them the barest minimum amount of shade that they needed. I custom covered it so that you wouldn't have the gaps. I hate the gaps that come with the cues. And other than that, I don't think a lot has changed. Oh, I've squared off our shops. So now we have this little pinch point right here, which I'm all right with. But now it is a flat facade. I did a little bit of tweaking to, yeah, you can see the control booth. But other than that, now I think that looks actually a little bit better now that I've rotated it to be in line. And then that made me think, what's going on back here? There used to be a sign that pointed this way. It was originally going to be restrooms, but I was just perusing the park the other day, and I remember that I put a smoking section in by the Hawk. So I figured I would put in another designated smoking area. See, we have designated smoking area. Oh, I need to put that sign right here too. So now it's off in the back, tucked away, right near a backstage area. We added a backstage area. Yes, these fences are too close. Yes, I will fix it. Don't you worry. So there's going to be a nice backstage area here that we can clutter up just to get some goods and stuff back there. I also added some light rigging that I found on the workshop to our stage show. I think this helps make it feel even more grounded in reality. And I also went back and fleshed out the backstage area. Not completely. We still need to do all this up here, close that off and make it secure. But now it makes a lot more sense. There's actually a building back there for the stage show, and we have a way to get in. We'll put a door here to make you able to get in. And just so you get a view of what that looks like now that it's completed, more or less. You can see that the go-away green wall here, it really is negligible. You'd barely notice it as you're waiting in the queue here for the Rapids ride. So that's pretty good. Pretty pleased how that turned out. And that brings us to this area and this flat ride. And I'm going to go with I Want to Be Popular's idea, who I believe helped us name something in Brazos Square. And so if that's the case, hey, shout out again to you. He suggested having Dr. Ollie do something with this flat ride, theme it somehow to a distillery or a brewery or something like that, which just made so much sense. If he's a doctor and he has tonics, what does it say? Pharmaceuticals and oddities. Well, he's going to dabble in elixirs, aka whiskey. And so we can do a whole steampunk whiskey theme, and we're going to try to incorporate the ride, and it's going to be kind of a narrative stretch, but it's cool. It's going to look cool. So this is the main chunk. This is the new big idea. A lot of it has been just sort of rearranging stuff. I haven't built a lot. So here we go. Let's actually build something in our Planet Coaster episode. Let's get to work on theming this flat ride and getting it set, and then building Dr. Ollie's, well, tonic. You'll see. So here it is. It doesn't have a name yet, but I kind of like what happened. Sorry it came together so quick. I got into a groove. And actually, what I initially did was I went into No Name Landia and I looked at the Elixir in there. That's the name of the ride, right? Yeah, I looked at the Elixir in Conifer Slopes, or in No Name Landia. And I considered just stealing it completely, but then I realized it really didn't match what I wanted. So I took some inspiration, mostly like the shape of the fences. But then I figured, well, if we're gonna go with the steampunk and the whiskey and that's where we're headed, what if there's some sort of like my thought was with the steampunk theme, I always wanted there to be like cables and clutter and stuff, which for me the best way to do that felt like a Tesla coil, which felt steampunky enough to me. I know it's not steam technically, but... And then I thought, well, how can we incorporate the ride? And I thought, well, maybe the kinetic energy is somehow being harnessed by all this stuff, and it's causing the power here at the coil, and that's going to feed the energy to the distillery that's coming. I don't know. That was sort of my thought. But I want to show you this Tesla coil. It is made here. It was made by Synx, S-Y-N-X, and it's incredible. It's a whole tower meant for like architecture. And so I just modified it so that it wouldn't bump into the ride, wouldn't bump into it. Namely, got rid of some of the bottom half, changed some of the colors, stuck some more pistons in there just to make it a little more mechanical looking. But yeah, that was the centerpiece. And then we went to work here and we got ourselves 4 of these cool little pipes. Like the steam is don't think too hard about it. If you don't think too hard about it, it looks really, really cool. And also what's super cool about it is when I shift it to night, the glow from the coil is really, really, like, that's just spiffy. And then the lighting that I have hung, and then even the Bandit IPA sign is lit up, and that's kind of how we're gonna work in the Bandits in with Dr. Ollie. Dr. Ollie maybe has bargained a deal to get this machine up and running with the Bandits, or he's, you know, selling illicit. I don't know, something there's some black market deal between the Bandits and Dr. Ollie, and that is why his shop is going to take off. So yeah, I think this is probably my most themed flat ride, but I'm really happy with it. It kind of gives me vibes. I don't know if you're familiar with the Summer Brodown several years ago. Remnant made, I think it was Remnant. It was either Remnant or the Mad Hatter. I can't remember which one it was, but made an awesome steampunky flat ride for his project, the one with the Yeti monster, the Dreamcatcher. There it is. Took me a while, but I got there. So anyway, that's what we're going with here. We're going to shove the queue over here on this side, and we're going to have it exit right out here onto the path. And that leaves all of this for our bar, basically, our bar and restaurant, our Dr. Ollie's Elixir. So let's take a look at the bones of that structure. Oh boy, all right, there's a lot to unpack here with this structure. Thing number 1, the whiskeyed still. Based off of, I found a cute little moonshine still on the workshop to use as like inspiration. I just then tried to size it up. I found some barrels on the workshop, and then I just went to town, and I figured that is what this contraption is for. The flat ride helps brew vast amounts of essentially whiskey or moonshine, and that's what sits atop of the building here. This just gigantor, this just huge thing. And I thought maybe it started off slow or small, and then Dr. Ollie just kept adding levels and layers and junk to it, to the point where now it's just this hodgepodge, looks like a bunch of buildings nested into each other, which was exactly what I wanted it to be. You'll also notice down here we're going to have a nice little open bar area for patrons 21 and up. So Dr. Ollie's Feel Good Tonic, aka whiskey. Here's to feeling good all the time. And if you catch that reference, you're an awesome person. Except, all the time is not guaranteed when consuming whiskey. That's just the one of many ways we're going to dress this area up. So my thought was, if you had reservations for the interior, you would go through this door. Over here, we have a staff door. And then we have the walk-up bar area here. And we're going to kind of deck it out and really try to make something of it. So here's a first look of the bar. This currently has very few details on it. We're really going to detail it up. We're going to add lots and lots. But yeah, the Papa Yellow here I think is sorely needed because it was getting really brown. And the green and the copper is really good. And that's what's kind of... The green from here is kind of being pulled from the flat, but we needed another color to brighten it up. So, oh, speaking of color, the hyper is a different color again. This is what it was the last time I built Conifer Slopes. For RollerCoaster Tycoon 3, I did 3 versions, and the third version was actually on. It was, I don't know if it still is. It was on my YouTube channel, and this was the color of the hypercoaster, and it went through the rapids rides just as it does now. So we're gonna stick with this for a little while because it's red. We have 2 red coasters already. I've already changed the spinner to purple, and I might change John T's coaster, just the color, not the layout or anything like that. I don't know if I pointed this out either. We've also decorated the station here, the depot. We added this cool, again, steampunk inspired clock. Here we've got the pipes coming out. We've got some reinforcing poles here. It steams every now and again. Looks kind of cute. Here's your boiler for that. That would power all of it. And we kind of made this a cute little garden area. It was the only thing I could think of to make it look good. Still need to shore it up just the teensiest weensiest bit here. We got some parts sticking out. We may have to use some path covers for some of this to really make it look nice and tidy, which I don't think we're going to get to today. But if I zoom out now, you can now see the western area actually kind of makes a lot of sense. It actually is full. Whether or not it makes a ton of sense, I don't know. But it's full. It's got all of its pieces. It has one. I don't know about the troika. We'll see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rides. I mean, a dark ride, a water ride, and a coaster. Now, I must have really wanted to do a giant... I must have been really happy with the western pieces in this game. This is so much bigger than the original, but it's okay. I really, really like it. So you can see how this area is all laid out now, but we have to finish all this up. I mean, this looks a hot mess. It's just a hodgepodge. We need to make it look like it's supposed to be here. Oh, by the way, real quick, these are my fermenters that I built for way back when for Jubilee Gardens. Recolored them a bit. I don't know if they're going to have any use in this project. They might just sit there as backstage things. So let's take a look at where we end up in this episode with the reshade from Blue Jay. All right, so here we are with the lovely reshade on once again by Blue Jay. Thanks so much for all that you did to help me. And let's take a look at what we've done, starting with the most recent, or starting with the earliest. Nope, the opposite of that, starting with the earliest. So here is our game station here. Ooh. And we have our saloon and the well. Oh, they are still shooting. Look at that. And now we get a view of the coaster here. I think this is pretty good. And we come up here. Oh, why is that clock? Oh, it's because it's a new day. We have our flat ride, which is going to be named Twister, by the way. We're going to name it Twister. Got to get a sign for that. A lot of these rides, well, all the rides, still need proper signs, so we will get that going in a future episode. But you can see here, it's just simple. Nothing to write home about with this, but that's exactly kind of what I wanted. It's a filler. It's a quota. It's another ride for guests. And now we can see here that the jams and the jellies and the groceries are all done, and you can see coming up what we're going to be looking at. But I want to show you something that I forgot to show you in the last part, and that is I decided against an interior. I originally thought I'd do an interior. I know that's something that would just burn me out, so we're not going to do that. Instead, I used some of M. Stankow's awesome gift sets from the workshop that I've used in several projects. They're amazing. And I also just made some cowboy mannequins. And this is now a gift store and a gift shop. And I think that's going to be for my sanity to make sure we can get to the end of this. hello, not including a interior, I think saves my soul. So here's access to our smoking area. It's pretty cramped and crowded, but just got a little bit of detail back here. Some awesome workshop TMTK ashtrays, I think from Hydro maybe. And then let's take a look. There's lots of TMTK in this shop, just so y'all know. This project is so old. You know, it started basically when Planet Coaster did, and then it had such a long hiatus. I didn't get to add TMTK as it was coming out, but I am not hesitating. So a lot of signage and stuff like that. So here we have our bourbon, whiskey, and moonshine sign, and we have now a full developed area here. And we have our bouncer. I decided to give him a work area and then delete the thing that the work area was attached to, so he just stands there. And now he makes sure he does ID checks to make sure everyone has their IDs. And it says it everywhere now, so don't worry. We're not going to let any underage people. We have standy tables made out of barrels. Isn't that thematically appropriate? We have the bar. We have a Nathan. Hello. And now take a look at the bar. Lots of TMTK here. I love the Rogue shot glasses just kind of sitting around. We've got a beer stein there. I was thinking about maybe doing some sort of like club. I don't know if that would be something you do in a theme park. Some of the local breweries around us, like you pay so much money, like the big one, St. Arnold's down here in Houston. I think it's like $1,000, but you get an engraved mug that lives at the brewery, and for life you get free beer. Every time you show up at the brewery, you can use it to drink. And I think the first pint is free, and I think you can even like give it to your child when you die or something. It's like a lifetime. So anyway, I would assume this place would have other non-alcoholic options or alcoholic options to mix, or non-alcoholic mixer, so like smoothie ingredients, coffee ingredients. That's kind of why this is in here. And anything that looked kind of old-timey steampunky, I threw it in. So we have some beer on tap. We have Bandit IPA, Jubilee, Salty Boy, which is a Goes. It used to be called Beautiful Goes, but it won't fit on a billboard, so I changed it to Salty Boy. Sorry, Beautiful. We have Conifer Haze, which is unique to this project. And then some new ones. We have Chacho ESB, an English Strong. Yeah, I forgot what ESB stands for. But it's for Nerd Chacho. He's awesome. Watch him every week when he posts. We have Moomin Stout, Moomin Little Socks, another current Planet Coaster player. And then one more nod to Blue Jay for his, he is a Pilsner. And so we just giving some shout outs to some community members immortalized in Conifer Slopes forever. Whoops, what am I on? A barrel. Lovely. And then we have our actual elixirs. We have original whiskey. We have Conifer Slopes bourbon whiskey. We have Rye-ish, which is kind of like a rye-Irish mix. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't think that's a thing, but Rye-ish sounded funny, so that's what I called it. And then we have the big, strong, I don't know, like double distilled. I don't know how it works. Just an overproofed. And you can buy a flight of 4. So yeah, we've got a sink here. I don't know. I tried to make the bar look at least, oh yeah, that's clearly a bar, and it seems to have some of the details you would want it to have. But I added extra pipes all around, and trim all around, and signs all around, and we added some trees. And the pipes go from the barrels further into the building to, just to pretend that that's where all the whiskey's coming from. And then it butts right up to this ride here, this Elixir, which we're going to need a name for. So go ahead, get busy, drop in the comments. If you're still watching, give me a name. And then I did build the queue cover, but I haven't done anything else. I kind of went overboard. This might be one of the nicer queue covers I've ever made, but the gears are great, and love the shininess on the gears here, and got some cables running through it. We'll add some lighting in here, I think. The train comes perilously close. Isn't that fun? You get great views of the train as you're standing in line. You get the awesome coaster. Maybe even some views of the, or not the coaster, of the flat. You get some views of the coaster. And that rounds out, let's get out a Tegid cam, that rounds out our western area. So now, with all the buildings in, now it's going to be detail central. So that's what we're going to be trying to do. We're going to be trying to clean up as much as possible in the next episode, because I really do want to get this. I know I said it in the last episode, but I really do want to get this out to everyone to explore on their own before it gets so big that it melts everyone's computer. So yeah, so hopefully you are digging the way that it's gone. My biggest gripe is that the park is now just a whole bunch. Well, I guess this is a loop. We have one little loop, but this is a major dead end, and this is a major dead end, and I don't really like that. And I originally had plans to bring it all the way around here. I'm not so sure that's going to happen anymore. We might just keep Conifer Slopes to be just this. And maybe, I don't know. I'm not thinking too hard about it. You can see we haven't closed off all the buildings. We haven't done all the backstage, but we have certainly put a big dent in it today, I would say. I would say that we are about 80% of the way there of finishing this western area, and then it's a matter of cleaning up this area to connect it to Jaunty's area, cleaning up this area, throwing up the signs for, like, you know, actually adding another train station and completing the loop would be really smart to do. Where's our train station? Our train station is right here. So it would make really good sense to probably put one about here and then probably snake it through there if we can. That'll be interesting to see what happens. So these are all just things that are popping into my head. Let's take let's finish where the work was, and that's right here. There's a gander at the whole kit and caboodle from today's episode, at least the new builds. And if you're excited and you think it looks good, give this video a like if you don't mind. And like I said, if you were gone for a while and you unsubscribed, or you didn't know I made Planet Coaster content, consider subscribing, because I can feel we're going to have a couple more episodes coming out real soon. Now with all that being said, have yourself a great day, great night, great whatever, and I will see all of you for the next episode of Conifer Slopes. Take care, everyone, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.